Hi Circuit Riders, welcome back. I just wanted to do an update on our solar system install. We've done several videos over the years of installing panels on our roof, installing solar battery EcoFlow towers in our bedroom closet, and I'm going to put a playlist at the end of this video to lump all these videos together so you can kind of see the whole project as one if you're interested in that. So today we're going to talk about the final stages of this project, running the solar wires through the roof of our RV and into the internal wall, and then also installing a 50 amp plug on the outside of our RV so that we can plug our RV into our solar battery towers. So we have finished this project over several months. You know, when you're on the road in an RV full time, you just have to do these projects in little pieces when you can. We are rarely in a spot long enough to get a big project like this done all at once. So our first step in this project was to run our solar wires through the roof of the RV. When we originally installed the 12 solar panels on the top of the RV, we just had wires kind of running wherever we could over the side of the RV, through windows, anything we could do to get those things plugged in. Well, we wanted a more elegant solution that we could use on the road that didn't require so much setup and tear down. We have these panels in parallel. So there's 6 on each track. I think I'm saying that right. And then we have ganged the wires together into one plug that internally goes into the battery tower.
So just
That
put it.
will
That's
drop down into the ceiling of the closet and the cavity of the wall.
It will be inside the closet, but before the nose.
Okay.
There's not just the thickness of the outside wall, but there's like a built-out false wall cavity where all that plumbing access, if we were going to put a washer dryer in there, is within that wall as well. So that creates a nice space where we can use to have these as a wire channel. So we're going to put these two, they're glands, which is a kind of funny name. Wire goes in here, it screws down watertight, and then there's 2 parts that seal to the roof, an internal part, and that's where the wire has to go in there, and then you can also screw that down. So there's both an adhesive, waterproof adhesive, screw holes, that goes down there, and then this also adhesive, but it also clicks in, and there's staggered screw holes so we could tighten it down, and then we'll die core around the outside edge when the time comes. So all right.
Want me to go down the closet and see if it's coming through?
Sure.
All right. All right, go ahead.
There you go.
We're using these special solar wrenches to undo the clips from the ends of the wires.
The connectors.
So that we can feed the wire down through the ceiling, and then we will reconnect it.
We'll put the connectors back on. Making sure the wires are underneath where they belong so that we don't wire this and then realize, oh, we have to undo it. So everything is going where it should. This is the Parkside black. Nice. And that'll tighten down eventually to make it watertight. Now this is gonna feed down into that hole.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rewire that one or recrimp it. So it left behind the pin. Opened up, so I'll just push that. I'll just push it back through later and either recrimp it, or I've got extras. There.
That feels good.
So we think we might skip the die-core. This is really tight. It's got actually 2 seals. The inside little gasket sealed the roof. This outside sealed to the roof in the end. And it's nice and clean this way. So we may just leave it alone.
And also those glands will be protected by this solar panel. Once we put it back down, they're gonna be underneath the edge of the solar panel, so that will protect them a little bit from the weather too. We have almost 3,000 watts of solar on our roof, which is an incredible amount. And with the 2 Delta Pro battery towers, plus we have an extra battery tower, it's technically equivalent to about 9 Battle-Born lithium batteries. So there's 9 batteries there. We've got 2 lithium batteries in the RV itself that we switched out the original lead acid batteries for. So you could say that we've got 3,000 watts of solar, 11 lithium batteries on this rig. That should be enough to run whatever we want, whenever we want, no problem. Well, not quite. The system that we have is different from one that you might have seen other YouTubers have who fill their storage bays with banks of Battle-Born batteries, and then they've got Victron controllers and converters and all that internal stuff to make their solar power run to different places at the same time. So that is a much more streamlined system. When you see rigs that have that kind of setup, they are taking in solar power, and then some is going to charge the batteries, some is going to run the things that are in the RV, the appliances, the lights, and all that stuff, and it kind of elegantly flows where it needs to go. Well, our system is not quite that efficient. We are channeling all of our solar power into the 1 or 2 Delta Pro battery towers. When that tower runs down, we need to physically unplug the solar from it and plug it into the other tower to use them. They don't really talk to each other. There is a way that we could get them to talk to each other through a smart home panel. We have not gone that route. It's kind of expensive, and we don't really need it right now because we boondock very rarely, except when we're on our mainland. We're not usually boondocking. So this is kind of a minimal version for us that we just use occasionally, but we still wanted enough beefy solar power that we could run everything in our big 5th wheel RV. So stay tuned, because at the end of this video, I'm going to give you some thoughts that we have on why we chose this more minimal system and how we feel about boondocking. So now that we have these plugs run internally and we can plug them directly into our battery towers to charge, we need a way to get the power out of those battery towers to run the RV. So we have this big 50 amp plug, like, every RV has an electric plug that you can plug into a post at a campground or an external energy source. We want to plug this into our internal energy source. We have in the past just run this cord with an extension cord up through the window and kind of, plugged it into the towers. It's not very elegant or nice, but it does get the job done. We wanted something that was a little more plug and play with this system and a little more weatherproof. Jason bought a 50 amp box for RVs that can be surface mounted on the outside of your RV. So this is what we're currently thinking for a plug solution on the outside of the RV. We can plug in our 50 amp cord directly from the electrical bay into here, and then it will mount somewhere up here, under the bedroom window or under that dryer vent. And so that we can plug it in there, and then internally Jason will wire a different 30 amp plug inside to go into the towers. Hi everybody. We have left Cape Cod Campground this morning, and we're making a 2-night stop here at the Mohegan Sun Casino. So we've been enjoying the fact that Mohegan Sun offers a free parking lot for RVs. You can stay here up to 7 nights, no hookups, no dump station, but all you have to do is come in here and call the security guard, and he'll give you a free permit, and then you're good to go. Jason's even taking some time here in the parking lot to work on the rest of our solar project. We wanted to install that 50 amp plug on the outside of the RV so that we can plug in. Right now we've got the cord running from the electric bay up through the window and into our closet where our solar towers are. But if we can get this plug installed on the outside, we can just plug the RV right into the outside, and the wires inside will already be hooked up for solar. Nice. That really should work.
All right, so that'll work. I just have it dry fit there. rubber.
Not just the door will hold it, you're gonna mount it to
Yeah,
the board inside of it.
there'll be wooden brackets that will attach. Like this door's not gonna get open and closed. It'll stay closed semi-permanently.
Yep. Nice.
So I'm gonna take this out and kind of build this all together and then slide it back in place. It's just easier. I need to break the silicone seal here to pull this out. This will make this way easier. There. I think that's just die core.
Oh.
Okay.
We're cutting a hole to fit the end of this plug-in.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a 2.5 by 2.5 inch square to fit the end of this 50 amp plug through so we can run it through the outside, down through the wall, and then into the closet.
Okay, so that'll work. Put positive pressure on that white wire. All right, I ended up popping the door off of this because I think it'll be easier. So I can screw this back in and then feed this all through. Get the door back on. We're gonna seal it up well anyways. I might even put some external screws in just to hold it. But that way I'm able to wire this in nicely. And now I'm going to sandwich, because it's not designed to be this way. This is designed to be surface mounted, but we're kind of cheating and using this as a sandwiching piece there. So.
And you had to break it a little bit to get that door off.
Yeah, I cut a little. There was sort of a way to do it, but it was too friggy. So I just made it so I could pull the hinge piece a little bit sideways. I think we need to make this clean because it's still die core essentially.
Just gonna put die core back on it.
Yeah. Do you want to see me scraping this?
Yeah.
Oh, you are.
It's got regular lap sealant die core. Looks like that's what they put it on with before.
There's the hinge side right there where it belongs. Yeah, especially want these edges to, or the corners. I don't know if this works this way.
Can't get the hinge back in?
Do you see how this comes out the bottom?
Yeah.
See how there's stuff here? I don't know if it'll bend around that.
Pull on the cord?
Or should I notch that? Okay. This doesn't work well coming out the bottom. I mean, I could just say this doesn't work well and put a period there. Because it's a bit of a boondoggle. But...
Because the wall is too thick.
Yeah, for this
For
stiff
this to
wire
bend
to kind of
around.
clear around. So we're going to come out the back of this instead. And we'll make it work that way.
So we didn't have enough room inside of the wall to run this wire down through the wall because it couldn't clear the lip of the outside wall. So we decided to run it through the back instead. And this wire is super, super stiff and strong, but we did manage to bend it around and clamp it here so that we will be able to plug it in to the dog bone that goes here. And then our upper tower will be here as well.
There's that back of the hole there, but it's very small.
Just doing duct tape over the holes. You screwed that door right in.
Yeah, I drilled holes and screwed in. I got 2 that I've taken out just because we were flexing it a little bit.
But we can't open the door anyway, so
no,
that'll
we
just
don't even want it to be openable. Ugly as sin. That's pretty homely. All right.
Okay, we've got our 50 amp cord coming from the RV to the extension cord.
All right.
This is our first time plugging in this way. Not very pretty.
That'll get cleaned up with some black tape that we wanted it to dry first.
All right, let's go inside and hook up the solar. So while we have a 50 amp plug on the outside of the RV, the towers are 30 amp, so we need a dog bone.
Dongle.
We did top off all 3 of these towers before we left our campground, so we're good to go for several hours before we even need the solar.
Oh, at least a day and a half.
Yeah.
All right. Moment of truth. Ready?
Turn the plugs on.
And there's the microwave.
Yeah. Microwave, come on, so we know it's working. Now you might be asking yourself, why are you running your 50 amp cord all along the ground and on the outside of the RV? Couldn't you have internally wired it through the RV and come up through your bedroom closet so everything would be internal? Well, yes, we could have. That is a much bigger construction job. To run the cord through the underbelly of the RV would entail taking off the underbelly and the insulation, figuring out how to run that cord through the I-beams and over, obstructions down there. How are we going to come up through the floor of the closet? And then if you hardwire your cord in that way, how can you get it back out to plug into a post when you are at a regular RV park? We wanted the flexibility of being able to easily plug into the post, which we use 95% of the time. And then only on the few occasions when we are boondocking, just to run it out to that external plug. So for us and for our usage, this was the most straightforward and simplest way. If we were mostly boondocking, I see some YouTubers who almost exclusively boondock. They're only going to an RV park very occasionally to dump and get water, and then they're back out again. If we were a boondocking household, it would make more sense for us to internally wire something like that in a permanent basis. But because of the way that we travel, we thought this was a better option. So at the beginning of this video, I was talking about how we have chosen this a little bit more minimal system for our boondocking needs versus going the route of other RVers that we've seen who do large banks of battle-borne batteries and solar towers and converters and controllers and all of that stuff. Well, why have we chosen that? Number one, it was much cheaper for us. Now, we bought our Delta Pro battery towers off of Kickstarter. They were first coming out with the Delta Pros. They were offering big discounts and deals if you went through with them through Kickstarter. We saved thousands of dollars that way. So I'm not saying you could get them as cheaply now, but compared to big banks of battle-borne, specifically battle-borne brand batteries and solar install and all of that stuff, we could still save thousands of dollars by going with our Delta Pro towers instead. Number two, this was a job that we could do ourselves. There's not a lot of internal electrical wiring work. Now, Jason could do that work, but it's very technical and complicated, and that's a big job. So normally people are hiring that out, and then you're paying a premium for someone, an expert, to come in here and wire up all your batteries and your solar and everything. So cost was a main issue for us. But secondarily, and equally as important, is the Delta Pro system is portable. And when we are on our main land, our future goal is to have power that can move around the land, either to a cabin, or maybe someone is visiting in their RV and we want to give them a tower. Maybe someone is tenting, our kids come up and stay in a tent. We want to give them one of the towers to charge their phones or something. So when you have all of your system tied internally to your RV, you're not sharing that power with other locations or other people. So that was really important to us. Cost and portability. As I've said many times, we are not a primarily boondocking family. We prefer RV parks. We prefer to be hooked up to full water, sewer, electricity all the time, and we only use boondocking on the rare occasions when we are between places. Maybe we use it for 1 to 3 nights as a bridge between campgrounds. When we are on our main land in the summertime, we are off grid on that property, but we're not totally dry camping. We have a well installed there. We have a septic system installed there. So we do have hookups partially. And the only thing we really need to solve for is electricity. We get plenty of solar up there in the summertime, and it runs our rig great. So I hope you found this helpful. This should round out our whole solar and battery install. And like I said, there'll be a playlist linked at the end of this video that you can go check out more of our upgrades and repairs and everything that we have done to this RV. Thanks so much for coming along, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
There we go. That cleaned it up pretty nicely.
Just some duct tape, black duct tape.
Yeah. So we drilled a raggedy hole, sandwiched this in there, die-cored the crap out of it, cleaned it up as best we could from 8 feet away. It looks really decent, the die-core mess. And then the thing that cleaned it up nicely is we put this black tape on here that gives an extra layer of protection. It's layered so water runs off of it, but also just makes nice and black and disappears the work we did. This is definitely a better than good enough job.
Excellent. Great work.
Plugged in. That seals when we go down the road.